Yeah, you're alive. Hi, wonderful people. This is Carol here. I am coming from a whole different environment, as you can see in my background. Yeah. So today, as yes, my my lovely energy. I love it. The hi there, everybody. This is kind of my signature. Now, as I was saying, I'm coming from a different environment. As you can see, it's not the scenery that you normally see in the background. Now, I have been in Holland this past weekend for a wonderful fair, very wonderful fair, and realizing how much people love the art I have created of understanding the body. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all out there, for your support. And also, I visited a wonderful sister of mine in the Horn, Emma. That was incredible, Emma. Thank you so much for your wonderful you know, how you look after me, how you make me feel in your home, you and your family, the love that you shower upon me. I thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, I traveled about 2 days ago into Belgium. At this moment, I'm in Belgium in a in a house of a very dear friend of mine. Now, yes, and yeah, so it's the first time that I do this live show on this environment. So I hope it's gonna be well. Now today the subject is about how what do we need to do? How important it is to understand yourself. How important it is to understand yourself and to understand what you're going through as a person, because of, there's so many things that goes on in our lives that we tend to forget that the most important thing in this universe is to understand yourself. And when we understand ourselves, so can we be able to to be we can be able to manage the bubble. Everything in our life is a bubble. Now, having to work as a therapist over 25 years, I realize that on a daily basis, my God, there's so many things that are happening to us as humans. And just you as a woman or as a man, first of all, of course, as a human being, and then man and a woman comes later, because of we are so fascinated, we are so fixed in this ideology of a man and versus a woman, or woman versus a man, but we don't realize actually that just as human beings we are experiencing the same nonsense. Either you're a man or you're a woman, there's so much peer pressure that is going on around our lives. So the most important thing that we need to do is to step aside and move away from the language a woman and go into a man. And I'm really one of those sisters who often will talk about woman, and not really realizing that actually the brothers as well, they are so important. And today I watch a program called 8 Club. Wow, what an amazing program! And I wish that women could watch this program. It's group of brothers talking about what they are going through, what they're experiencing, and I find it so fascinating, because sometimes, we came in a world where we are taught that there's a woman and we are taught that there's a man. But, the mere fact is that all these people are going through the same issues in life. Now, my subject today is about emotions. That's why it is so important to understand yourself, how important it is to understand yourself and the happenings, how to separate the two. And having to work with the body, I understand that most of the things that are going on in our body starts in our minds. Most of the hiccups that we get in terms of our health starts in the way we think about ourselves. So when we do not understand ourselves, when we do not understand our situations, lots of things can happen in our bodies where it can actually lead into danger, where there is not even a recovery for our body to handle us, to protect us, because of what we have been putting our body through. So on a daily basis, it is important to understand that things happen in our life. We experience things. And for example, how often as a human being that you find yourself, um, you are put in situations, and these situations you have no control over, and as you have no control over, they make you find yourself completely lost. And some of them are things that when you talk about them, people might think that you think within yourself that if I complain about this, people might think I'm crazy. We are always challenged. Now, how do you say to yourself, this experiences has happened in my past. Now, the only thing that I can do to overcome this is to understand that I am a bigger balance of my life. I am a bigger influence of my surrounding, because sometimes when we focus too much into the happenings happen, and suddenly if you focus into them, suddenly you are completely stolen away from you. The painful situation, the painful feeling that you feel overpowers you, where you find yourself suddenly going into the elements of depression, finding yourself really being taken by voices, because when voices come, there's always a reason. Now, I've been mentoring people for so many years in my life, and I realized that as I mentor people, I actually also have my own experiences that needs to be mentored, that needs where I need guidance, because of sometimes life can be really, really, really difficult. I give you an example, and this example is something that's going to make people aware what we are going through. Every one of us are experiencing something one way or the other, and we're living in a society where we gotta be strong. We gotta be strong, even if we do not have power to be strong, but we gotta stay strong. And when we stay strong, we forget. I'm so sorry, you guys. I just have to do something on my nose. We forget that there is this body, and this body needs to be looked after. This body needs to be nourished. And how do we nourish our body? By selecting few things in our life that we can address very, very clearly. Because when you do not address matters become big. And as you become big, so we get depressed. So I say to people out there, if you are experiencing something that is really painful within yourself, and you can really feel it, that this thing is painful, that sometimes when you wake up in the morning, it knocks your knees, where you can't stand strong as you know yourself. So I always say to people, especially to myself as well, because we all go through these moments, and these moments have nothing to do with either you are rich, either you are poor, either you are whatever labels you might put. When it comes to emotions, nobody can escape the essence of emotions. And the only way to escape the essence of emotions, it's by understanding yourself and by giving identity to what makes you feel the way you feel. Because I tell you, when you're not aware of who you are, what's going on around yourself, so you are stolen away from yourself by either somebody coming to tell you that you are not doing enough in the world, by somebody coming to bully you. There's also lots of bullying around. This bullying never stops. I tell you one thing, you people who are watching me daily when I speak about these issues that I tend to tackle, is that in society there's so much imbalances. The imbalances, it could be probably you are a beautiful person and you want to share, you want to empower others, and that's your essence. Often the people who come to your door, how balanced are they? How much are they thinking about others? Do you find yourself often being bullied because of you are one who stops everything that you do for others, making sure that others are okay before you? There can be lots of abuse and bullyingness. And how do you find space where you can talk about that? often we do not have a space where we can express how we feel, what has happened to us, you know. So at that moment, you're already scarred. And another example that I'm going to give to you is, as I said, I just moved to London about 5 years ago, and I'm sorry, and I rented this amazing apartment that I've been living in for almost 6 years. This year, actually, it will be 6 years me living there. And I loved the apartment until 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I get tears when I talk about this because of I lost my home. When this thing happened, I felt robbed. I felt as if my apartment had abused me, and I never had anyone to talk to about. And you can even see it in my eyes at this moment that tears filled up because of this situation nobody ever dealt with, and I had to live with it, and this made me hate London so much, made me hate the apartment where I live. From that moment when that thing happened, I lost my home. I live in an apartment where I feel not safe at all. Now, to cut the story short, just to let you know that every day somebody goes through something. And because of we living in a world where we are born by ourselves and we are experiencing things by ourselves, we can share with others. But the mere fact is that everything in your life, you are dealing with it. Either it's beautiful, either it is weak, either you have no power over it, or either you have a control over it, or either whatever that might be, we are dealing with things as humans. Now, the question is, how do you understand yourself? That's the only way you can survive. Now, having to live in this apartment, the apartment is 1 bedroom apartment, and it has not so much storage. And so as the apartment had its own furniture, it was finished. And I moved there with some of my stuff because I thought I needed items that can represent me. So I left in that house for 2 years without realizing that there was a storage downstairs. My bicycles were there, and my house was kind of little bit kind of cluttered in a way because I didn't have enough space as they build a place with no much how do you say it, with it didn't have storage as they build it. So when I realized that there was a place where we can store our stuff, I took my 2 TVs in there. I took some of the tables in there, some of their tables in there, because the storage was very clean. You knew that when you put stuff in there, things will be safe. And so things lived there for a year, and I put lots of things. Some of them I don't even remember. And I remember me buying this amazing table in one of this antique shop, and the table was very expensive, and I loved it because this table, it was one of its kind table. And I thought, when I move out of here, because of that, the apartment, because of it was 1 bedroom, it was not a place where I was planning to live there for long. So I thought to myself, get this table, because this table is going to be a centerpiece of where you're going. Now, I took my stuff, I put them in a cellar, in a storage where the storage were. And 2 years ago, they sent an email, and I was not there. And the email was, you have to move your stuff out of the cellar, out of the storage, otherwise your stuff will be thrown away. Nobody phoned us. These people have our phones. And all these things that we put there, they were very important to us. Within 9 days, they throw away everything. Everything. Now, this is an apartment where you are paying rent for about 1,680, which is almost 1,007 plus electricity and all that. So you're actually paying £2,000 in this apartment to live there. And these people just took our stuff and threw them away. And I phoned them, and the first thing that was, oh, it's you. You should have lots of things in there, isn't it? And I felt abused. I felt humiliated by this building. And I tried to speak to them. They didn't listen to me. They felt that they had a right just to take our stuff and throw them away. And as I said, I put TVs, I put my lamps, I put my tables. Some of them I don't remember even because of the space was so big and a few people were using them. So some of the stuff that came from Belgium, I kept them in there, hoping that one day when I move out, I would have my stuff. And this stuff, some of them I had them for over 15 years. So now, when this happened, I felt not safe in that building at all. Now, I had no control over it. The only thing I felt not safe, and having to experience that as well. The same building, they sent a man to fix my home, to fix one of the things that was broken into my house. They took my door before they throw things down. So what I'm trying to say is that there are things that will take you out of balance as a human being, but never let this thing take control over, because there are things where we have no control over. And as so the building where I live at this moment, it's a building where people are abused, and you pay so much money, you're abused. And as a foreigner in a country where you do not know what to do, who to turn to for guidance and for support, I was lost. And as lost as I was, I had no one to talk to. So today I hate London. And I don't know if it's because of I hate London, or it is because of the way I was treated in the building. And I'm still living there, because as a foreigner as well, you gotta have a good credit for you to have a new building. I tried to move out, I couldn't move out because of my credit was not good enough for me to move out. So this made me depressed. It made me sad. It made me feel like, wow, people can do that to others. They can just take things of other people and just throw them away and get away with it. And in there, they also have their own stuff, which, so what I'm saying is that on a daily basis, there are things that happen to us that we have no control over. That will make us feel lost. That will make us feel weak. And when this thing happens, the first thing that gets attacked, it's your body. It is your body. So who are you today? What is your situation? Where are you living? How your situation is? Are you living in a beautiful home that everything that you put there is respected? Or are you feeling that you're not respected? Are you supporting yourself enough? Are you believing in your capacities and capabilities? So there's lots of questions on a daily to make you feel well, to make you feel strong. Because remember, every situation that you find yourself in is a choice. Yes, I live in this building. I still live in that building even today. And I have made it very clear in my soul that this year I am moving out of that building, because I feel as if I'm abusing my body by supporting such a company that would treat people who are supposed to be respected and protected by them just like that, and feel that they have, and that's the thing that we have to also understand. We're living in a society where people have no sense of feeling. Bullying, as I started with bullying. Be bullied by others, but don't bully yourself. Don't lose yourself by lots of voices, and voices that are taking over. Because sometimes women who have kids, if you're a woman out there and you are going through this depression, and you are going through these voices, and these voices makes you feel like you useless, you don't belong. They make you feel like you have no saying in this world. You are nobody. Think again. Do you have kids? How self-observed are you, where you're forgetting about the kids around you? Because you can't say you are nobody when you have created a life that needs a mentor, that needs someone that they can look up to, and say my mother was a role model because my mom was happy. My mom chose happiness. So there is lots of things around feelings. Feelings we can be so, and sometimes I'm gonna say it very hard because of every human being goes through something in this life. Some of people have no control of their situations. They are either captured, they are in captivity, they have been locked somewhere where they don't have even a moment to smell a breath of air because they have no control. They can't open the door even though they want to open the door, but they can't. How many women today who are lying in bed because of these women, they can't move because of their body has given up on them because of over pain, over emotions, over, so suddenly the body couldn't cope with all that sorrow that sits within them, and suddenly things escalate and the body starts losing control because a body does lose control. Everything that we do emotionally, always think about your body, that your body sometimes does not have power to overtake the depression, the pain that you give to it. So ask yourself a question today: how bad your situation is for you to choose the voices. Are you in control, or do you think you're not in control? And it's a choice. It's really, really a choice. As I said, I lived in an apartment where I felt robbed, I felt abused, I felt vandalized, I felt bullied, and I had to make a decision. And I know they're still gonna bully me when I leave, whereby they're gonna take my deposit, even though they have taken so much away from me. These people have their bullies. They don't give a damn about anyone. And sometimes we find ourselves in a situation of such, where you are in a nest, and that nest is a nest that knocks you against the wall every second of every minute. But you can only emerge from that by loving yourself, by saying to yourself that no happenings or situation can overpower me, or they can take me, my essence, away from me. Your essence, it's your core foundation. you know as you can hear, I have no home. The moment these people treated us like that, it was not only me, it was lots of people. I saw the walls were, their men expressed their anger on the wall, but their stuff were taken. And these people, that's what they said: so we have thrown away your stuff. As if you, within 9 days, they gave you 9 days to throw away your stuff. 9 days. And these people didn't even leave letters in people's doors, which was a very, very important thing. Belonging of others who are paying for them to stay here. You understand? And that, I was really, really knocked out of London. Even today, I still feel London, it's not my home, because of, I feel that in London there is a status more than humans. People live for status. People live by it feels like a country of survival of the fittest. Emotions are just dragged. It's one of the emotional country that I have ever lived in. Very, very unbalanced. And of course, I have to make a decision: do I stay in this country? There is no togetherness. It's the first country that I have been for years in my life that I have never had a strong human relation. Very strange, very strange. Now, having to live there, I could have been depressed, which I was, and I chose that I'm not going to be living under this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to understand this so-called England. What is England about? There's lots and lots of misuse of connections of human. London, it's all about status. England, it's about, especially London. I wouldn't say England because I don't know England. I know London. What I have seen in London, people live for the status. Who are you? What are you having? Who are your friends? What kind of clothes are you wearing? People fight for me. It is such a lonely country. So having to experience that, I learned a lot about the essence of what it is to protect yourself, what it is to live in a country where the sound of inner beauty and inner subconsciousness, it's not being celebrated to the core. Just for example, living in Fulham for 5 years, and I'm one of those people who are very open. I can make friends just like that. But in London, it has been the most difficult state for me to even make strong friendships. Yes, I have met beautiful people recently when I'm about to decide to leave the country. I met wonderful, wonderful sisters that I find very dearly to me. But in these 6 years that I lived in London, I had to choose me, not the happenings. I had to choose to be connected with what I own, my inner subconscious, to stay well and to stay healthy, to stay lovely, to stay with that essence that I know that I am beautiful. I have such wonderful energy and I share and I give. Now, what's happening around me, this has nothing to do with me. It has something to do with the energy of the land where I've decided to visit for a while. And instead of me beating myself, I had to analyze the country and I had to analyze the situation and realize that this had nothing to do with me. This was a land where I decided to reside. So what are you choosing today? Depression, it's a language within yourself. We get depressed. When we are depressed, there's an inner language within yourself. Listen to that inner voice, especially if you're a mother who have kids who are about to learn how to navigate this world. Those kids need you very much. But you can't give yourself to the kids if you don't give yourself to yourself. You are the power of this universe. You are the heaven that creates heaven in the world. Minimize emotions, find yourself, and live to the core of yourself. So today, this is my story. How important it is to understand yourself. I thank you so much, and I'll be in London next week, Monday, soon to be leaving the country. I thank you. Bye. This is Carol Matebula saying one love.